Hello everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast. Today, as part of as part of the this audio podcast, as part of a synopsis. A synopsis is part of the Equipoise. This audio podcast synopsis as part of the Lab Storm Motley. This audio podcast is part of a Storm and Scuttle. This audio podcast is part of a Storm and Scuttle and Turbulence. This audio podcast as part of the series the Squakish, and this audio podcast as part of a Storm Lobostics production. Through this audio podcast series, there will be the audio podcast series. There will be a look at snapshots or overviews in around the following. So, a look at in around aspects pertaining to urinary tract infections, some aspects in around kidney replacement therapies or renal replacement therapies. Some aspects in around some additional aspects in around renal and primary care or the primary care healthcare sector. And then I look at renal and peer support, looking at peer support aspects in regard to aspects pertaining to the literature. And then I look at aspects in around nursing and renal, in around aspects pertaining to nursing and renal. And then I look at infections and renal, initial aspects in around and looking at infections and renal. And then I look at in around the symptomology, in around proteinuria, and then I look at physical aspects aspects in pertaining to renal health and activity or physical activity, and then I look at renal health and nutrition. And there will be in this audio podcast there will be some additional aspects in around looking at electronic patient records or EPRs. Again, in this audio podcast, the audio podcast this audio podcast will be a snapshots in around these particular focuses, and the audio podcast the full presentations in around these audio in around these focuses are on and through the RPSG organization and RPSG platform, and can be accessed through the RPSG and also additionally highlight that some of the audio podcasts are some of the presentations and focuses are additionally on Storm Lobostics on Storm Lobostics social media. So that draws this audio podcast synopsis to a close. This audio podcast synopsis as part of the Equipoise. This audio podcast as part of a Lab Storm Motley. This audio podcast is part of a Storm and Scuttle and Turbulence. This audio podcast as part of the Squakish. The Squakish, and this audio podcast as part of this audio podcast synopsis as part of a Storm Lobostics production.